video, we have seen the subsidiary book of purchase, that is the purchase book. Now, in this video, we are going to learn about sales book. Here, in the sales book, only the credit sales are to be recorded. That is, the subsidiary book in which only the credit sale of goods are recorded is known as the sales book. Here, any sale of asset is not to be considered, and only the credit sale has to be taken into consideration. Here also, if the partial sale is done on cash basis and the partial is on credit basis, then whole of the transaction has to be considered as the credit sales only. The amount to be recorded here in sales book is the net amount of sales after deducting the trade discount from the market value. It is the same as the purchase book, only the changes it is based on the sale of goods. In both these purchase and sales book, credit transactions are to be considered, no cash transaction is to be considered, partial cash and partial credit transactions have to be considered as credit only, and the net amount of purchase or sale after reducing the trade discount has to be noted down. And now, after seeing what sales book is, let's see how it is prepared. There are two ways of preparing the sales book. Let's see them. One is the simple sales book. Here only the particulars and the amount column is given, and in the columnar sales book there are various columns prepared other than the particular. Here the columnar sales book is again divided into two parts based on the type of goods mentioned. That is, for instance, if I am a merchant of mobiles, as said earlier, if I sell various kinds of mobiles like Samsung, Oppo or Vivo, then I will be writing the columns for Samsung, then Oppo and Vivo. And if I am a merchant of furniture, then maybe that I will be writing the columns for chair or table or cords or etc. That was based on the goods, the columnar table based on the goods. And the other type is the columnar sales book on the basis of goods and expenses. Expenses again may be railway, freight, taxes or octroys. After seeing the types of sales book, let's see the specimen of the same. Okay, here are the specimens of sales book. The first type is the simple sales book, when a trader is just trading with one particular goods, then a simple sales book is enough. And if the trader is trading with more than one, two or three types of goods are traded by him and he is selling them, then he can separately make sales book for each commodity, right? Instead, he can even make this combined one through columnar. Let's first see the sales book of Shri, that is common everywhere. Then comes the date, name of customer. Here it is the sales, so we are selling it to someone, so that is customer. So we need to write the name of the customer over here. In purchase book it was supplier and here it is customer. Now as goods are going out of your business, here you write the outward invoice number. Okay, so the outward invoice number will be recorded over here. Then the ledger folio number, and in last the amount. This one was the simple one, the simple sales book with total making very easily if possible. Let's see an example for this. For instance, on January, let's take February. Okay, February 1st, sold goods of rupees 9,000 at 10% trade discount to Mr. A, and Mr. A paid 50% of the amount immediately. So it is partial transaction with 50% paid, but we have to consider it to be a totally credit transaction. So 9,000 amount worth of goods are sold to Mr. A. So the transaction will be recorded as 2020 Feb 1st. It is Mr. A's account. Mr. A is a customer. Outward invoice number is not given, so just a dash. Ledger folio number is also not given, so dash. And amount is 9,000 rupees and 10% trade discount, so we need to reduce it. So the net value will be 8,100. 9,000 minus 900 is 8,100. After recording all the transactions related to sales, we need to do the total of this. Okay, this one was the simple sales book. Now let's go for columnar sales book. If a businessman, as I said earlier, is doing business on various commodities and is not wanting to keep separate sales book for each commodity, he can keep a single sales book with the columns bifurcated for each commodity. Like we see here, table, chair and cupboards are bifurcated by the businessman, and rest of the things like the date, name of the customer, outward invoice number, ledger folio number and total amounts remains the same. Here the total amount will be that of table, chair and cupboard combined will come over here. Let's see it with an example. Now let's suppose it's February 4th. Okay, on Feb 4th, sold to Mr. C 5 tables worth rupees 9,000 per piece, 5 chair worth rupees 4,000 per piece, and 10 cupboards of rupees 2,000 per piece. Invoice on 101, invoice number 101, and credit period is 2 months. So it is a credit sales over here. So let's write the transaction. Feb 4th, Mr. C's account. He is a customer. Then the outward invoice number is 101. Ledger folio number is not given. Tables are 5 tables, right? There is no trade discount. Only 5 tables are there. So worth rupees 9,000 each means 45,000 worth tables. Chair also 5 chairs of 4,000 each means 20,000. Then cupboards, 10 pieces of cupboards for 2,000 per piece. So the amount of cupboard will also be 20,000. So the total of this sales will be 85,000. After recording all the sales in Mr. Whoever book it is, we'll do the total. Okay. Now the last type is the columnar sales book as per the goods and expenses. Here date as usual, the name of the customer, then outward invoice number, ledger folio number, total amount are same, but the bifurcation is here for amount. Here the expenses are to be considered. So first column in the amount column will be the net amount of goods, means after reducing the trade discount, the net amount here. Then the railway freight, labor or octroi or any other kind of tax, custom duty or whatever it is, we'll have to record them over here. This is for sample, so railway freight and labor are taken into consideration. Then if there is GST, then the GST is of two types. One is intrastate, that is inside the state, from Gujarat, inside Gujarat from Ahmedabad to Rajkot or something. The interstate supply means from Gujarat to Maharashtra or Rajasthan, that type. So the output CGST and output SGST will be applicable on the intrastate, inside of the state, and IGST will be applicable on the interstate from Gujarat to Maharashtra type of sales. Then the total of all these amount will be written over here in the total amounts column. Let's take an example. Suppose on February 20th, okay, goods of rupees 20,000 at 5% trade discount on credit of 3 months is sold to Mr. J of Jaipur, Rajasthan. On the behalf of Mr. J, paid labor of 250 rupees and railway freight of rupees 400. Invoice number 130 sent by adding labor and railway freight. Here we are sending it, right? So let's record the transaction. It's 2020 Feb 20th. So the goods are sold to Mr. J. So Mr. J is our customer. So Mr. J's account to the outward invoice number is 130. Ledger folio is not given. And goods are sold of worth rupees 20,000 at 5% trade discount. Means 5% of 20,000 is 1,000. So the remaining amount is 19,000. So the net amount of goods is 19,000. Railway freight worth rupees 400 is paid on his behalf. Then labor worth rupees 250 is also paid on his behalf. So we'll record this. Now as it is an interstate transaction, we are from Gujarat and that person Mr. J is from Jaipur of Rajasthan. So CGST and SGST will not be applicable over here. Only the IGST amount will be applicable, which is 12%. See if there is any changes. In the question it will be mentioned regarding the percentage of GST. Fine, so don't worry. So the IGST is 12% and this 12% is to be calculated on the total of the net amount of goods, railway freight and labor, not the net amount of goods only. You need to calculate, make the addition of all these three: the net amount of goods, the railway freight and labor. And on the resulting amount, you need to calculate 12% of IGST. So the total of 19,400 plus 400 plus 250 is 19,650 rupees. And on that, we have to calculate 12%. So it comes to something around about 2,358 rupees. Yes, 2,358 rupees of IGST is to be calculated. Now, after recording all these, we have to just make the total and write it over here in the total amount column. So the total is 22,008 rupees. Here there is no space, so I am writing it over here like this: 22,008 rupees. And after recording all these transactions relating to sales with the expenses, you need to make the total over here and here. Fine. So these were the specimens of the sales book. So friends, if you have liked my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.